Hello, welcome back to the shop. A different view than normal. Today we're in the back of the shop. I finally decided I've had enough with the lighting that was in here, and it was time to upgrade like we did the front of the shop. So if you remember a couple years ago, I upgraded the front of the shop to those T5 LED strips. They're 4 foot long, they're quite inexpensive. In the scheme of things, they're quite inexpensive. You get, for a pack of 8, which will do 32 feet, will get you right at $59. So it's quite, you know, in my opinion, it's a great price. And they put out a tremendous amount of light. And the reason I wasn't going to film any of this, the reason I am is the social media buzz is all over the place, or the world's awakened to what good lighting does. I'm going to give Jason Marburger all the credit. He bought one of those foot candle meters. I don't have one like that. I actually have an app on my phone that I'm going to use. And we'll see what it does. If I can find one of those, I might go ahead and pick one up just for, you know, S&G. Just so everybody else is getting one, I might as well get one too. But I was listening to Welding Tips and Tricks podcast while I was putting these lights up, and they were talking about it, and I thought it was hilarious that they were talking about it. Of course, Jason's blessed with 32-foot ceilings, so you don't have to run as many when it's really high because of the way the light distributes to the floor. When you're lower, you kind of have to put them close together and not as many. And it's a balance between what you think is good light and what is too much light, which I haven't seen a situation where there's anything such as too much light. The front of the shop, we run them back to back for 24 feet. So the front of the shop's about 24 by 40. I stayed off the walls a little bit. Wish I'd have went all the way, but lesson learned up there. I'm going to do it back here. So, and then another lesson learned is I would not put them end to end. The lights come with a bunch of cables. You can see the stack of cables on the table, but this is the one. This is the one they come with, and of course this is 36 inches. And I know I wanted them closer than 36. Well, you can also buy these little 6-inch ones. So I bought the 6-inch ones. I think they're 10 of them for $7, and put them 6 inches apart. And the reason I did that is because I learned on the front part of the shop, as they heat up and cool down, they grow. So they grow. Any metal expands. So it's just a very, I don't want to say flimsy, because for what it is, it's very sturdy. Aluminum extrusion with a strip light in it, and you know, if you put them end to end with the little coupling. I don't have one of them. With a little coupling, they just, you know, they'll do this over time, and then poop, they come unplugged, and then you can crawl up there on the ladder, push them back together. So I learned my lesson. I didn't do it on the back. So these are all spaced about 6 inches apart, 2 little clips that hold them to the ceiling. The front of the shop had 1/4-inch OSB for the ceiling that was put up years ago, so it's kind of, you know, wavy, whoppy-jawed, however you want to call it. The back shop I did, I don't know, 20 years ago, me and my brother-in-law put this up. It's 7/16 OSB, back when you could get it, you know, fairly inexpensive, but the whole ceiling is the 7/16 OSB. But I went ahead and put the lights 3 foot on center, just like I did the front of the shop, except that it spaced out to 6 inches. And I went pretty much to the end of the wall there. I run short. I run 1 box short. Math didn't work that day. I need to order 1 more box and I'll finish that up. But it basically goes, you know, chalk a straight line, run your lights down it, put those 2 brackets in. It's just a bunch of up and down on the ladder. So I did that. So right now, this is with no lights on. The only lights that are on are my camera lights that are shining on me. And for the lumens, we're getting, I'm sorry, not lumens, candle power, we're getting 3. I didn't go to the floor because I don't work on the floor, for one thing. And the other thing is I'm old and my knees hurt to get up and down. So we're going to trust that it says 3 right here. So it's got just a little bit of light coming in. And of course it's 11 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock, right at lunchtime. And there's a lot of sun coming in in the side window. And you can see where the nail guns are hanging, or right by the box where the miter box is at. That's all sunlight coming in there. There's no other lights on in here. So I'm going to stand right here. Then I'm going to go and I'm going to turn on the fluorescent lights. So that'll be just the fluorescent lights that were in here from the get-go. So I'll be right back. All right, so that's with the fluorescent lights on. I don't know how much of a change that was in the camera probably the aperture in the camera changed a little bit. But on the meter, we're up to 7-foot candles. And if I hold it up here, we're at 10. So, you know, the closer you get to, of course, to your light source, the more it's going to read. So that's with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 8-foot fluorescent lights. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn on all the new T5 bulbs. And there's approximately 60 in here, 4 foot long. Pretty nice. So you can see how bright it got right there. It's almost daylight in here. It's crazy the amount of light that you get now. Oops, I missed a row. We plug them in right quick. There we go. Now, that's 60 of them going. And I have just a few more in this back section here to go where the panel saw is and going into the entrance of the spray room. So that's why you see it's a little dark back there. But tremendous difference. Now let's see what it says. Well, it says we're up to 22. So if it's 22, I like it. So most of the time where I work at is going to be on the bench. So it'll be right here. Move everything out of the way. Hit the button. We're up to 36. So I think it's brighter than that. So I might have to get one of those other meters just to see. But you can see. That's just the fluorescence, which you can tell because it kind of got the yellow glow. And then we go to daylight 6,500 watt bulbs, and it's way different. I can't believe I worked in here for that long with this light. It's crazy without doing anything. But I don't think the technology was there. You know, Jason hit on a good thing. The LEDs, the technology that you have now is totally different than what it was. So I'll show you what bulbs I used and all that and what wire I used. How I wired it. Learned some lessons in the front of the shop. I need to do the math and do some amp readings. I think I'm just over. I bought a relay. It's a Wi-Fi relay. So I wanted to automate the lights. I have this switch already in the front. I have to do the math to make sure I don't overload this. This is only good for 10 amps. If it's over the 10 amps, I'll probably just buy a contactor and wire it into that and let the contactor do all the work and let this thing just work the contactor. Alexa, turn on the back shop lights. Shop probably about 30 feet either way. And I have lights going this way and lights going this way. Everything's in the conduit. I made me some little pigtails. I'll just show you how I did it. I think it looks pretty good. Pretty neat. I don't think we're having any problems out of it. It'll last the rest of my life. So hang on and we'll get to doing that. Well, good morning. It's the next day. Ran out of time. Of course, something came up. So we're out here the next day and we're going to talk about what I used, what I'm going to use to automate the lighting. Most people nowadays, you know, have echo dots. So when they were on sale a couple months ago, I bought quite a few. There's in the shop, there's 7 of them. So there's 1, 2, there's 3 in the front part, there's 4 in the back part. And we use them for intercoms. Use them for intercoms with the house. Use them for music. Just what you use Alexa for. We also have, of course, security cameras out here, and you know the Blink security cameras and maybe a Nest security camera. And what I thought would be nice is if when they're armed, if the camera detects motion, that it would turn the lights on. And then it's real convenient just to turn the lights on, you know, if your hands are full or whatever. So, and it's kind of neat. So I thought, what the heck, for as little money as it's going to cost, might as well go ahead and do it. So what I did, as I mentioned in the first video, I purchased some eMilo 10 amp relays. These are Wi-Fi relays that work with Alexa. We've already tried them out. Matter of fact, Alexa, turn off the shop lights. So she'll turn off the shop lights. See, they just turn off. Alexa, turn on the shop lights. So now the shop lights are on, and she turned the fan on. Alexa, turn off the fan. So we have a fan that's mounted in the ceiling at the air conditioner, kind of in the corner. It's kind of awkward to get to. So I just took a Wi-Fi socket, Wi-Fi plug, and plugged it into it and made it automated. Why not? You know, the next thing you can do is if the ambient temperature reaches blah, blah, blah through the camera, you can have it turn the fan on if you wanted to. There's so much you can do with routines and stuff through these things, the dots. I'm not going to say her name or she might start doing something. But in the back of the shop, I'm pretty sure we're going to be over 10 amps. So what we're going to use this for is a relay to switch a contactor. So this is a 25 amp contactor. It mounts on a DIN rail, like this. So you'll mount this inside the box. This just clamps onto the bottom of it like that. This will be this is inside the panel box. So you have this. I bought an 8x8x4 indoor utility panel. And then this will mount, and I'll cut out just enough for this part of it to be out. So you have the emergency on, not emergency, but it's just a push button switch inside the relay itself that you can override. Like say, if your power, let me rephrase that. If your Wi-Fi is out, if your power is out, nothing's going to work. So if your Wi-Fi is out, you can just click it and turn your lights on. So what we'll do is we'll neatly route all this stuff. And then while I was doing research, I said, you know, with everybody talking about lighting again on social media, I said, I wonder how much it draws. So, of course, looked on eBay and found amp meters. So I bought 2 of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wire one in front of the relay to see how much actually the relay's drawing. And then I'm going to mount one behind the contactor to see how much the actual lights are drawing. So these are rated for 30 amps. I should be well below that. I wish there was a lower scale one of these that I could find on Amazon. I couldn't find it. So I should be able to read. It's pretty graduated, pretty good. So let me see if I can get the glare off of there. So you can see we're going to wire those in there too. So here is the panel door that come off that indoor mountain box. So I'm going to have 2 of these mounted in here. And then I'm also going to have just this front part of the switch, so it'll look something like that, but inside the panel. So all you're going to see is the white part sticking out. So I'll it'll be cut. I'm going to cut that out, and then we're going to mount all this stuff and wire it up. Of course, the contactor will be mounted in the back. What else have we got? And all you need is wire. Of course, you know, tie strap sticky blocks to make the wire neat in the thing. You'll need your wire, tie straps, of course. And something else that I found while doing research on these awesome little, I don't know what you call these. You know, you used to have twist nuts that you use wire nuts on the wires. And these are actually, I'm going to call them gated or latched would be a good word for them. These things are awesome. So I tried to find these where you could buy these separate. They're, you know, you could find them, but it was hard to. But then while doing that research, you know, here's a standard wire nut. While doing that research, I found these ideal, I can't remember the name exactly what you call them, but they're push-in wire nuts. Well, I got all those in the conduit completely done before I realized these were available. So, you know, if you put on wire nuts on 12, you know, number 12 wire, you know, your fingers will wore out. And I ran, I think, what is it, eight of them in that conduit, so 8 sockets. So each one of them has 3 in it, because the way I did it, I usually wire my sockets up with just little pigtails so you don't have to hit both sides and then wire it up into the box. That's just the way I do it. But these things right here, you just cut your wire with 1/2-inch copper showing and push it in, and that's it. And they come in, so you have, you know, if you're only going to use 2 wires, like if you're just going to wire nut it together like that, if you got an outlet that you're running in series and you want to pigtail it, you know, I pigtailed here and then one side of the wire and the other side of the wire. So that's what I did. And then you can also do 4. So I bought these 4 ones also. You don't have to use all the ports if you don't want to, but they also have a little spot in them where you can put your test lead in them if you want to test some stuff. So I seen this in a European video or something similar to this in a European video, and I was like, man, where have them been forever and ever? So, you know, it helps to do a little research. If you're a wire nut guy, you know, you can see I've got a tub full of them. These are awesome. I've been using these ever since I found them, and I'm never going back to wire nuts ever again. So these things are awesome. But in the meantime, I'm going to cover up in blue tape, lay out everything, and then when I get everything laid out, I'll bring you back and to show you how we're going to mount it. So just stand by. It'll take me a little bit to cut this out.
Well, I lost the video footage showing mounting the components into the cabinet in the back, so we'll just simulate it doing the ones in the front. So the ones in the front actually have 2 of those Wi-Fi switches in it. And the first thing we do is that utility box has about a 5/8 lip around it, so I went ahead and marked out a 5/8 lip. And then I measured and figured out how I wanted to mount these switches or relays into the cabinet. And all I need is that little black button to show, but I didn't see a good way of mounting it to do that. So I decided to let the whole face of the e-Milo, so it's the whole white part pretty much will stick through the cabinet. And here I am just marking it out, taking my time, using every trick I can think of to keep everything neat, because it's going to be visual and you'll see it. So using straight edges and machinist squares and regular squares and mat board and anything else I could think of. That old saying still holds true today. Measure once or measure twice, cut once. Sometimes you forget those old sayings. So that's what I did. I just took my time, laid out everything. The back shop actually has the amp meter in it, and the front one I may put something different in it. I was worried I wouldn't have enough space having two relays in it. It's 2 relays and one contactor in this box. So I was worried about a little space there. So now we got everything fitted in. I cut it just shy of what I needed to use, and then I used a file to get the shape correct. So those switches fit in there pretty good. And then some way to mount it. There's really not a good mounting way to do this, so I just took some 632 fasteners and marked out the hole locations, drilled them out, and then attached them that way. And it seems to hold fine. It's just a tiny little switch. The things don't weigh hardly anything at all. So once I had all that figured out, drilled my holes, and then went ahead and peeled the tape off, and we were ready to start mounting. I think it turned out pretty well. Pretty neat. Could have done a little better on the cutting, but I just use a jigsaw with a metal cutting blade. The relays fit in the openings pretty snug, so it didn't take a lot to hold it in. So I just went ahead and tapped the cover for the 632 and run the screws in from the front side, and they acted like studs, and then just attached them using some nuts on the back.
All right. We have the the utility box all wired up. It has the contactor mounted on the DIN rail in the back. It's hooked into the front shop light relay. So the relay takes power, powers up the spring in the front to set the contactor in the back. The front shop has a few less lights and should be under 10 amps, but it works so good in the back of the shop, I figured we'd just do it in front of the shop too. So I have my in-laws come over, and they use the shop as they wish. And they're more than welcome to. But he didn't know how to turn the lights on. So I went ahead and labeled everything. It's just ask her. I don't want to say it. And these are the lights that are controlled by her, and these two here also are controlled by her. So you just have to ask it. So if you want to turn on the lights in here, you just say, Alexa, turn on the lights. Alexa, turn on the lights. So the whole shop turned on, the front, the back, the workbench, everything turned on. So, it works really, really good. Let me put my mic back up here. So, and it works really, really well. If you just want the front shop lights on, you just say front shop lights or the back shop lights, either one of them. Or the fan, you can turn the fan on also, because it's, like I said, it's kind of mounted in the corner on the ceiling in a plug that you have to move stuff to get to. So just put one of them inexpensive $14, little plug on it, and you're done. All told wiring, this box was, I think, $18. One of the relays is $15. I think that contractor was $20. So, a little bit of money on the outset, great convenience at the end. If the camera picks up motion in here, all the lights come on. And it's a pretty cool factor too. So now I got to figure out how to do the air conditioner automatically. Maybe they make a smart air conditioner or window unit, who knows? You know, I just put that one in 2 years ago. Don't look to upgrade that, so if I'm too lazy to use the remote control, then, you know, maybe not do it. But it's been a great project. The lighting in here is tremendous. Everybody, you know, raves about the lighting in here. It's hard to tell it now, it's in daylight, but here, I'll tell you what, we'll just get my phone and I'll record backwards what I'm seeing, and you can actually see what happens here. Alexa, turn off the lights. All right. So this is what I actually see here. Of course, you know, I have my video set up here, and I might even have to turn that one off. So I'm going to scoot forward just a little bit, or scoot to the side here. Alexa, turn on the front shop lights. And you see all the front shop lights turn on, and you see my nasty workbench and old Cindy lathe that's being neglected, and the powder coating oven that I have to do too. So either way, I think I've droned on long enough about the lighting in here. So, you know, don't be afraid to tackle it. I'll put links to all the equipment that I used. It's very helpful. Most of it came, matter of fact, I think all of it came from Amazon, a few things from Lowe's. But anyway, until next time, see ya.